All right, welcome back everyone to my channel. There's a bunch of news to go through today. A lot of things are happening around the Iran situation. So let's get right into it. So first up, we have US sitting across from Iran right now on the table and trying to buy 2,000 kilograms of enriched uranium. The price tag that is being discussed is around about $20 billion. And here's the contradiction that nobody's talking about, which is that the same president who spent years hammering Obama for sending Iran $400 million in cash is now the one reportedly authorizing a deal 50 times larger. So let's talk about where things stand right now. As we know, the US-Iran ceasefire is set to expire on April 22nd. That gives negotiator days to close a deal. Both sides are working from a 3-page document, a memorandum of understanding that covers 3 main things: what happens to Iran's nuclear stockpile, how long Iran agrees to pause uranium enrichment for, and what financial relief Iran gets in return. The financial piece is what leaked to Axios this week, and it sent oil prices down more than 11% in a single session. Markets are pricing in peace. Whether peace actually arrives or not is a separate question. So moving over to this article from Zero Hedge, we can see that US mulls $20 billion cash for uranium deal. They write that according to 2 US officials and 2 additional sources briefed on talks, US and Iran are negotiating over a 3-page plan to end the war. The 3-page MOU the 2 sides are negotiating over also includes a voluntary moratorium on nuclear enrichment by Iran. The US demanded in the last round of talks that Iran agree to a 20-year moratorium. Iran countered with 5 years. The mediators are still trying to close the gap. As part of the MOU, Iran would be allowed to have a nuclear research reactor, or multiple reactors, for production of medical isotopes, but would pledge that all of its nuclear facilities would be above ground. The existing underground facilities would remain out of commission. Perhaps the most notable element, they write, under discussion being the US would release $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds in return for Iran giving up its stockpile of enriched uranium. So as we can see over here in the Zero Hedge article, you have Trump claiming Iran agrees to never close the Strait of Hormuz again. Trump, in a post on Truth Social, writes Iran has agreed to never close the Strait of Hormuz again. It will no longer be used as a weapon against the world. This tweet by Trump sent WTI prices back down to 79 Friday late morning. And then additionally, you have Trump also saying that talks over a lasting agreement will probably be held this weekend. Most of the main points are finalized. It will go pretty quickly, Trump said. However, the president also denied that the moratorium on Iran's nuclear program would expire after 20 years. When he was asked if the program will completely halt, Trump responded, "No, years unlimited," which to me doesn't really sound very believable. So on one hand, you have Trump saying that there's a sort of deal to be made and that Iran is agreeing to open the strait. But on the other hand, you have Iran basically denying whatever Trump is saying. Over here on the Zero Hedge article, we can see that an Iranian source in conversation says that Trump's claim about the delivery of Iran's enriched uranium is baseless. As per report, Iranian source in conversation says only civilian ships can pass through the Strait of Hormuz and that through routes specified by Iran. The announcement of the temporary opening of the Strait of Hormuz has nothing to do with the current negotiation with Washington. Additionally, he says we waited a few hours to make sure that a ceasefire had been established in Lebanon. Then we temporarily opened the Strait of Hormuz. The announcement of the temporary opening of the Strait of Hormuz and the ceasefire in Lebanon are part of the agreement. They also say the negotiations on the issues of dispute with the US are still ongoing, but due to Washington's excessive demands, there is no clear perspective. Additionally, they also say Washington's demands in the negotiations remain illogical and unreasonable. The US president's claim about taking Iran's enriched uranium is baseless. says Iran. We can also see that Trump dumped on NATO. The article says the president continues unleashing a series of Iran-related statements on Truth Social in his latest, once again dumping on NATO, claiming that the alliance has belatedly offered the US help in its Hormuz Strait mission, but Trump, in all caps, said he told them to, quote, stay away unless they just want to load up their ships with oil. So here are the tweets. As you can see, Trump saying, I told them to stay away unless they want to load up their ships with oil. And through the posts, we can see that Trump is sort of celebrating that the war is over and that basically the US has won the war. Trump also thanks the Pakistani Prime Minister and Field Marshal Asim Munir for their help with getting this war to a close. And then we also have a few other posts by Trump saying that they will seize the nuclear dust that Iran has. He says the USA will get all nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. And so over here we see that Trump is sort of now wanting to put pressure on Israel to stop their bombing on Lebanon. As we know, within a few days, due to the bombing on Lebanon, thousands of people have been injured and killed in these bombings, and looks like Trump wants to get that to a close as well. So for now, everything looks like it's up in the air. No one is really sure if the war is coming to a close or not right now. This can go either ways, only time will tell. And the reason why I say that is particularly because of the fact that both Trump and Iran are making two different statements, or seem to be making two different statements at the same time. But another thing to focus on here is the massive amounts of spending that the US is doing due to this war. Billions and billions of dollars are being spent, money that the US government doesn't have. And what we're seeing is that the US Federal Reserve is now printing billions and billions of dollars, which is all really going to be good for gold. So whether this war comes to a close or not, it's going to be really good for gold. However, again, this is not financial advice. This is just what I believe, and that is my analysis of the situation, which I'm giving to you right now. Do with your money what you will. And as always, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, like this video, share my videos with your friends, and express your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you in the next one.